Good evening uh, to all you who are watching this. Um, Very, very important information that I wish to share with you. For those of you who know me, my name is Khalil Farah Shabazz. Um, I am a member of the Voices of the Legendary Intruders, but I am also uh, a lecturer, motivational speaker. Um, I've dealt with the ministry of the Nation of Islam, and I'm well known within the community in Harlem, also then in the Bronx in Brooklyn, because very simply put, that's where I was raised. But I want to share some things with you that I think is essentially important. And this month, as we all know, was the observance of breast cancer awareness. It is one of my biggest projects, one of my greatest concerns, because in 2007, I lost my mother to the battle with breast cancer. She fought for years diligently in view of the fact that she was misdiagnosed by a hospital in the Bronx, and they kept giving her the mammograms, and the machine was not the upgraded machine that would easily detect breast cancer tumors. And for 5 years, they told her she was fine until the fifth year arrived, and when it did, she had not only had the spreading of the cancer in her breast, but it went to her lungs and it took her life. But she fought with a smile. She never let anyone see her sadness. She always kept a smile on her face, and she never showed her pain. And I consider her the most courageous woman I have ever met. Most importantly, in addition to that, and in view of the fact that I've heard a lot about cancer awareness, and of course, this is the month where this observance takes place. Many participate and patronize in the spirit. And of course, millions are donated to find cures and better treatments. The unfortunate side of it is when you look at the racial disparity, uh, African American or Black women are 3 times more affected because they are not uh, of the other ethnicity. And that is the opposite of Black. You put it together. And that we don't have those modern, updated technological machines that would easily detect it. There's those hospitals that have fought, and they're to be applauded for those efforts. But we have a very, very long way to go. But one of the things that I didn't hear in this whole month, and I think I heard it only once, this is not only the month for breast cancer awareness, this is also the month for domestic violence awareness. Uh, a time and a period wherein we are the most affected when it comes to this particular condition. I did some research, and according to the ratio statistics, Black and Hispanic uh, people are 2 to 3 times more likely to report domestic violence than whites. And alcohol plays an increased role in it. It says among all ethnic groups, Blacks are the most likely to experience domestic violence, followed by Hispanics, then whites. I went into the NYPD stats, and I found that in 2008, 33.9% of Black men and women were affected by domestic violence and it actually decreased to 30.8%. But the unfortunate side of it is that the suspects for this particular condition, because that's what it is, 50.3% of the suspects were black men. In 2005, 1,181 women were murdered by an intimate partner. And furthering these statistics, although 1 in 4 women and 1 to 7 men from 2003 to 2012, they experienced domestic violence and accounted for a quarter of all violent victimizations. And another statistic has said 45% of women were killed by a current or former male partner between 2001 and 2012, more than there were troops killed in Afghanistan. According to the CDC, 1.7 men in the United States have been victims of physical violence by an intimate partner. 29%, them being heterosexual men, experience rape. Check that out. Physical violence or stalking by an intimate partner. In the final of these statistics, which I just quickly picked up, it says 3 women are killed every day by an intimate partner. And black women are victimized 35% higher than white women. 1.3 million survivors go into shelters nationwide to flee their partners. Well, you know, I looked at all these statistics and I'm saying to myself, we have a very serious problem. And the problem is that the nature of our relationships are not being affected by that very word that we use called love. We take love and we don't understand that we're not the owners of it. But there is one greater and more superior to us that put us on the earth, that helped us to understand that love overcomes hate. Love casts out fear. Love destroys the attitude or the spirit of harm or hurt or murder or destruction of another human being. But when you do not know how to love yourself, then you can never know how to love anyone outside of yourself. And so a lot of us have a great deal of self-hate within us. And so when we look at each other, we don't understand that the one who is before us or right in front of us was created by the same God whom we don't see. But we say we love him as a result of what we see when we look in the mirror every day. But you should look at your woman in the same manner. She is a reflection of you. I recall the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan once saying that when you look at the moon is a beautiful thing because it illuminates the earth. And the beauty and the splendor of that moon is so beautiful. He said, but nobody has ever seen the other side of the moon. He said, imagine if you was to see the beauty on the other side. And he said that with the analytical reasoning that when you look on the other side of that which is beautiful, of you, that other side is a woman. And so if you can become in tune with her, then you can become in tune with the other side of yourself. You know, we're always saying, you know, that's my soulmate, and, you know, this is my partner and all of those things. But the bottom line is that you have to see her beauty through the eyes of his love for you, because were it not for her, you wouldn't exist. And were it not for you, she wouldn't exist. You both have a great need for each other. And that is ordained according to Scripture. You and I who read the Bible, or we read the Quran, or we read the Torah, we know that these books that are considered sacred revelations to human beings, they relate a relationship. That relationship is not predicated on murder. It's not predicated on a man putting his hands on a woman, or a woman putting her hands on a man. It's not designed to tell you from a scriptural or historical point that you should abuse physically, emotionally, or psychologically any human being. But the most sacred of all human beings is a woman, because no nation is higher than her. And if there was no heaven on this earth that we could acknowledge, then the only one that is more fitting for that definition is our woman. Your woman is your heaven. She is your paradise. She is the threshold to the gate of your heaven, even on earth. And this is why it's said that hell hath no fury except the woman scorned. So you don't want to tamper with the very entity of reality that loves you. You want to be able to defend and protect and honor and praise the very one who from the beginning gave you birth, nurtured you, cultivated you, gave you comfort. Many of us, we wake up in the morning, we don't know how to cook. That woman will get up and she'll cook. She ain't got to. She's not obligated. But out of her love for you, to see you healthy, she'll go in that kitchen and do her thing. Centuries ago, or I would say years maybe, our grandmothers, whenever we got sick, they didn't go to no doctor. They went right in the cabinets in the kitchen and they found a cure for you in whatever you were ailing. That's love. You don't abuse someone with that kind of love. For almost 500 years, the Black woman suffered immensely to protect us. She didn't have to go through the things that she endured in those 500 some odd years, from getting her parts of her body cut off to being put on a post and whipped until she couldn't breathe, sometimes dying. She didn't have to go through. She didn't have to beg and plead to the one that had enslaved and him by giving herself to him, just so that she could protect us. And were it not for her, were it not for a Harriet Tubman, were it not for a Mary McLeod Bethune, were it not for all of our trendsetters that changed the course of this history, that were women and not mentioned or acknowledged, were it not for them, there wouldn't be a Martin Luther King. Were it not for them, there would have never been a Malcolm X, an Elijah Muhammad, a Louis Farrakhan. There wouldn't be none of them were it not for a beautiful, beautiful Black woman. So when you start thinking that you feel a need to raise your hand towards any sister, think about who saved your life. Think about who gave you life with the permission of God. Think about the woman that didn't abort you when it was being promulgated throughout our society during the 1970s that you can do your own thing. And so if you don't want the child, you can abort it. Think about that. Think about the value of her life as a diamond in your rough. Think of her as the most precious gift that God could have gave to anyone. And I'll tell you right here and right now, there's no woman on this planet more beautiful, more greater than a black woman. So I want to be able to do something. Last year, I was able to give a lecture. Well, actually not a lecture, but a personal testimony about my mother and her surviving not only breast cancer, but not surviving because of the racial disparities in our community and the medical system. But also I spoke about her being a survivor to domestic violence. My mother wouldn't let a man put her hands on her. And when that man did, she showed and proved to him who God was. Yes, she did. And that man would back up and he would honor and respect her. And my mother was honored for all the years that I have known her on this earth. And so, you know, I spoke about it. I wanted to do last year. I gave an idea called a Fire and Ice benefit, where I would, you know, I wanted to present the idea to a committee to set up not just a fashion show, but also entertainment. Same thing that you see on TV with Victoria's Secret. You know, they got on their thing and they go out there and they do their little strut. And then you got the singers coming out and performing. I said, well, you know what? We have not done that in the community. Why don't we do that for ourselves? Let us set up an event like that, but put it on a higher level and do it in such a way where we could support those small organizations within our community that don't get the financial means to continue the efforts to educate Black men and women on both sides, breast cancer awareness and domestic violence. And so out of that came the birth of the Fire and Ice event. Unfortunately, it didn't come through, but that's okay. And so now I said, I got to do something with this. I just can't let it sit. And so what I decided to do, you know, for those of you who got my video, I'm sure you got it a day or two ago. A very good friend of mine, Brother Chris Johnson. Some of you know him from his title, Entertainment and Soulful Entertainment. Beautiful brother. He's been a mentor to me. He's been a strong consultant to things that I've been doing with my music and everything like that, and very supportive and giving me wise counsel. And for that, I deeply, brother, if you do get a chance to see this, I thank you so much for your continuance and helping me to develop. Because remember, you may be a man, but you ain't fulfilled as a man until your last breath. You are still going through the course of becoming that. So don't call yourself that. Just say you're in the process of building on another level of being what a man is supposed to be. And so with that being said, you know, he has an event coming up November the 3rd. And I said, you know, the brother helped me out. And this is what we need to do. We always need to help each other. So I said, you know what? I want to help this brother, man. Let me do something for him. So, you know, he's got some tickets that need to be sold. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hit everybody up that I know. And I'm going to ask them, if you get your hair done at a beauty salon or a hair salon, and you can go to the operator and y'all got a personal relationship, I have a Gemini PA system. Very small, but very powerful. And I said to him, this week, grab me And we're going to go to those beauty salons and those beauty parlors. And whoever invites me to their parlor or salon that they go to, I said, you can pick a song and I'll sing it in exchange for you to do me a favor and get one or two of those tickets. But then I got it on. See, this is what I say, the beauty of having that spiritual reality in your life. I said, man, because he came to me, he said, man, listen, if you do this, man, I got you 50%. I said, 50%. I know what I'm going to do. Since I can't get off the ground the things that I want to, maybe I can process a donation. So instead of what he's giving me, let's say the tickets are $20. $30, sorry, and they're more at the door. So if I'm getting half of what he's giving, and then we sell 3 tickets, for every 3 tickets, I'm going to extract one, which is mine, and I'm going to put it up in a donation. So for every 3 tickets you buy, I'm going to donate my part to give to those organizations. I might pick one, I might be able to pick 2, so that I can give them something that says thank you for advocating to our brothers and sisters in our community to help stop the madness that we call domestic violence. And so I'm doing my research to find that organization so that on November the 3rd, I could present a validated cashier's check for that organization at that event on November the 3rd. So I'm asking you to inbox me. If you, like I said, it's a beauty parlor, beauty salon. I want to start, hear me out. The Harlem State Building has plugs right there in the lights. I don't know if y'all know they have plugs. People charge their phones there. That's where I'm going to start on Thursday. Between 5 and 6 o'clock, I will be plugging in. And my first song is going to be a song that I've heard everybody, hear it, me sing it. And they said they loved it. And I think it has a very significant message. And the title of that song is called Wildflower. And I'm going to sing that song between 5 and 6. I got to wait for him because he's got to meet me, and we got to bring the equipment. And it's nothing. It takes 5 minutes to put up. And I'm going to sing that song. And I want all of you between 5 and 6 to come to the Harlem State Building. And I want you to walk with me if you are sincere about stopping the madness of domestic violence in our community, just like we walk for, the night out when we want to stop crime at night, or we want to walk for the breast cancer. Well, I'm asking you who say you want to stop the madness, meet me there over by the Harlem State Building. And I'll have my brother, Chris Johnson, pull me up. I'm going to pull the equipment out, put it in, and I'm going to do that first song. And then I'm going to ask all of you, I don't care if it's a place where you get your hair done, if it's some place in Harlem, because I want to start from 125th Street. I want to go all the way up by 163rd. Because, see, that's all the area that I grew up in. And it's all of the area where you and I both know them problems are local, them problems are strong, and they need to be healed. And we can't do it closed up in a building. We got streets. So I want to send this message, and I want to be able to express my voice in song, but I'm asking you, out of every 3 tickets that are sold, I'll give up my part to put that money aside, and I give my word as bond, and bond is life. And if I should break my word or fail, then I will give my life. I will put that money up until November the 3rd, and then I will present to the audience at Alhambra, November the 3rd, at the Masquerade Ball, the people that I have chosen to give that check to. So will you help me? I want to thank all of you who are watching this. If any of you know me about anything dealing with breast cancer awareness or domestic violence, from Donna Michelle Franklin to Sister Keisha Williams, to Belize, to Tony Young, to Levy, all of you, Levi, I'm sorry, all of you who have heard me at that event in Brooklyn, you know I'm serious about this. This is not a game for me. This is not a scheme. It's not no scam. This is something that I wanted to do in honor of my mother, because my mother was my hero. She was my best friend. So I want to honor her in this way. And if you help me, and if you lost anyone that you loved, join me. I'm going to be doing this like a marathon. I'm going to start it Thursday, and I'm not going to stop till Saturday. And I'm going to get this off the ground because I believe in everything that I'm doing. So I want to thank Cecil. I haven't heard from you in a minute, brother. You know I love you, and I love your music. I'm still waiting for them tracks so I can get in this studio. Helen, thank you. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to what I had to say and mean. I want to thank my good brother, brother who I love, Brother Charles Evans. Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. You've always been a brother that's been supportive of any idea I've ever presented, no matter how big or how small. And you've even, tried, you know what you did, brother, to push me in that club and have me sing. I thank you, brother. I thank Kim Ravenel. I thank Joyce Thomas. Thank you. I thank you, my brother. Assalamu alaikum, brother Lukman, Leonard Lukman Jones. Thank you, brother, for also joining this. Sister Antoinette Hamilton, thank you. Sister Beverly, I got to get in touch with you tomorrow. But I thank you, and I also thank you about what I'm trying to present, well, what I really wanted to, which was the Fire and Ice benefit concert for breast cancer awareness. It would be a concert / fashion show. And I called it the BAM Vision because my mother's name, it was Barbara Ann Mitchell. So the abbreviation BAM. So I called it the BAM Vision for breast cancer awareness. I want to thank you, Sister Beverly. You have been an enormous support. And for that, my dear sister, I honor you and I praise you. Thank you, Sister London Edmondson. And thank all of you who will read this. Read this. Thank all of you. I thank all of you for watching. And those who will watch it tomorrow or the next day, know for surety that from now until the day comes, which is Thursday, God willing, between 5 and 6, I will be at the Harlem State Building plugging in and doing Wildflower. And if you have a song that you want to hear, I need you to inbox it to me now so that I can download it and put it on the flash disk, and all of that, and so that I can do it. I want to ask of you if y'all know people in the neighborhood, merchants. We ain't even got the beauty salon because it's women. And I'm honoring women, so I wanted to go into an environment where women are at a majority. And of course, you sisters have always been supportive of everything. So not only does it help my brother, Chris Johnson, but it helps my goal and my mission, which is the primary. And that is to give back to the community in a way that I can out of my love for my mothers, my sisters, my daughters, my nieces, my cousins. And the thing about it is, we don't have to be related by blood, but by definition, we are direct descendants from God himself. So we all have a deeper connection. And so I want you to join me if you're available. And tell everybody, yo, brother Shabazz is going down there at the Harlem State Building. He wants to hit the salons. He want to hit this. He want to hit that for one song. So I can get just 2 or 3 tickets out of that 3. I can give one back for the donation. Take me serious. This is not a joke. I love all of you. And I thank you all for listening. May God bless you. May God keep you. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Until then, this is Khalil Farad Shabazz from the Voices of the Legendary Intruders, of his people and the community. Peace.